Hi, my name's Greg Lehman. This is, I don't know what episode of Moonbeams, but my guest today is David Prather. How's it going?
I'm doing great here in West Virginia with the thunderstorms. How's it going there?
The opposite, very bright and
Ah,
sunny. So, yeah. But yeah, so, just in conversation before I hit record, you shared a very interesting career trajectory from theater to poetry, and then we could lead into the other stuff later, but just I'm interested to hear that thread. Where did theater start? How did it lead to poetry? Let's go.
well, I'll tell you what, a theater started because I went into a college advisor, and they weren't going to suggest I take any theater. But as soon as I said I would kind of like to learn something about it, then they said our theater professor is going to love you. So I went into theater appreciation class, and they were doing a production of Renfield. Not Renfield, Dracula. Renfield was my character because the theater professor stopped me in the middle of the hallway after about a couple of weeks of class and said, "Will you play Renfield for us? Our guy just dropped out." I said, "Can I think about this overnight?" Because I had never been on stage other than, school programs. And so I went in and I said, sure. And I was bitten, of course, by that theater bug. And I went on to study at the National Shakespeare Conservatory in New York, which is now unfortunately defunct because everybody wants to do musical theater and not just, good standard plays. Uh, but that's where I studied, and I came back home, and I've been in a couple of independent movies and uh, about 20 years or more of stage work, including directing. I think my favorite experience directing was I got to direct August Osage County,
Mm.
which was just an absolute hoot. There's so much cursing and profanity in it. We just loved it. So that was my background there in theater. But when it comes to writing, it was kind of natural because I grew up with my father had of course, the Shakespearean tome, all the plays and poems. And my sister and I, when I don't know, we are 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, we would crack open the tome, and we would divvy up the characters, and we would start reading the plays to each other, even at that age. So we had a lot of fun with it, and theater and poetry just went hand in hand for us. So,
Got it. Got it. Yeah. And I see. So you were at least, diving into poetry on your terms with a sibling and from a place of fun. And then when you're
yeah.
performing, like if you had fun with Osage County, like that, you could have fun with anything, I think. But
Oh,
so
yeah.
yeah, real upper. But yeah, so. And going from that, like I see that in your poetry as well. It's like this is a man who's having fun with the form. If you could speak to that a little bit.
Oh, yeah, yeah. One of the things I discovered, I mean, it was some years ago, I was at a poetry festival, and somebody called, when poems are entirely left justified, they called it lawnmower poetry.
Yeah,
And that kind of hit home for me. I thought, you know what, you're right. We can do more because poetry is not just um, about words. It's about music. It's about uh, it's about painting. Poetry is a combination of so many things. When you see that poem on the page, you know it's a poem. You know, of course, there's a lot of people going to what they call prose poetry, and I just call that lazy. But I just threw that in there to piss people off.
yeah.
But I love uh, making my lines go across the page in ways that provide either tension or beauty or something that I hope adds to the experience of the poem. So, yeah.
It shows. I love it. Well, great. Well, so drafting off of that, I just would love to get into these questions here. What is exciting you most about poetry at the moment?
Well, there's actually a couple of poets right now, and I've known about them for some time. I've never met them. But one of them is, of course, Alexis Roan Fancher. I don't know if you're aware of her, but she, oh my gosh, her raw honesty in her emotion and sexuality just absolutely spur me on. I keep wishing I could write that kind of raw, form. And then the other one is John Sibley Williams. Um, and his work is a wonderful, playful tension between form and subject that, so few authors, I think, really capture, and he does it so well. Um, and when it comes to my own stuff, I actually have a new collection that I'm farming out right now. See if anybody will pick it up. It's called A Heart That Stretches the Length of the Body.
Mm,
And it's all the poems use insects as a leaping off point for exploration of superstitions and the lies that we are brought up with and these different things. And again, I'm hoping because when I got interested in some of the most beautiful insects, like the orchid mantis or the Picasso bug or the Burt bug, for goodness sake. There is a bug, I believe it's a type of a stink bug that when its wings, it's elytra and wings are closed, it looks like the face of Bert and Ernie.
yeah.
So they interested me and I had to do something with it. So I ran with it and got a full manuscript out of it.
I mean, even just the orchid mantis, like that's a poem right there. How could you not? Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous little bug. Most people think of them as creepy crawlies, but oh my, some of them are just astounding.
Great, great. And you're sending out the manuscript currently, so
Yes, yeah, yeah.
someone will get it. Someone will get it. I hope there's
Fingers
people
crossed.
listening. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But great. So which poets were most impactful in getting you to become a poet?
I have a list here that varies widely.
Yeah.
Um, I'll start with the classics for me. Of course, I've already mentioned Shakespeare, but there was also Andrew Marvell, John Keats, John Milton, Walt Whitman, of course, is a huge one, an American poet. Um, and I would be remiss if I didn't dive into the second British invasion of the 80s by mentioning some bands that absolutely drove me forward because I thought I was going to be a songwriter when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And so I was listening to Duran Duran and Depeche Mode and The Cure and Kate Bush and the Eurythmics and Alison Moyet and Peter Gabriel and Pat Benatar. Of course, Pat Benatar is not part of the British invasion, but those were people I was listening to. And then when it comes to the more modern poets, the poets that affected me at the time when I was in my 20s were people like Robert Hass
Yeah.
and Philip Levine and Louise Glück and Sharon Olds and Robert Bly and Mary Oliver. So those were some biggies that really pushed me over the edge and going, forget the songs, write the poetry.
Yeah.
So that's where I was.
Beautiful, beautiful. Quite a lineup. Yeah. And then
Yeah,
yeah, going back to the musicality too. That's another theme that I see
yes.
in terms of
Absolutely.
inspiration, but also the work that you put forward. There is certainly music in there. Well, beautiful. If you could change something about how culture views poetry today, what would it be?
That is a really tough one. Even when I was being brought up, um, and I was being educated in Podunk, West Virginia, or Elizabeth is the county seat, Wirt County, which is where basically was educated. And I actually got a really good education there, but something that most public education doesn't push forward are living artists. And so I didn't even know that people were writing poetry. I thought that was something of the past. And what I would love people to know is your next door neighbor may very well be a genius writer, and you need to look it up. You need to find them. These are people who have the same worldviews that you do, that are in touch with some of the things that you are in touch with today, not the things of the past. This is a living art form. And I wish people understood that and knew it and embraced it. So
100%. Well, thanks for contributing to that here. You know,
thank
on
you.
the platform here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, great. So moving into the word association here, I'm just gonna fire off 10 words.
All I can say is psychology students, get your pad and pencil out.
There you go. Okay, getting deep here. All right. First off, West Virginia,
Home,
summer,
birthday,
stanza,
break.
cat,
So what was that?
cat,
At?
a cat, like an
Oh,
animal.
cat.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why I heard at. Cat. Sphinx.
Traffic,
Novel.
chores,
Say it again.
chores, chores.
Fourth. Oh, chores. I
Yeah.
can't even hear anymore. Chores. Hate.
Ruler,
Measurement.
story,
Jory.
story, story.
Oh. Black Beauty.
Cool,
Pool.
hope.
Love.
Beautiful. Right on. And then a favorite line of yours that you found remarkable recently. Doesn't have to be one either.
I went round and round, and I finally settled on one that struck me in various ways. Um, I've got the book here. The Night the Rain Had Nowhere to Go.
Let's see. Let me.
Uh, William Wolfett.
Yeah.
Um, and the line is from his poem West Virginia in the Later Anthropocene. And the line is, perhaps we will no longer spew the lies of our fathers, quilt ourselves in sweet nothings and newsprint. And the reason I picked that was, first of all, I loved perhaps we would no longer spew the lies of our fathers. It speaks so much of West Virginia and how we have for generations and generations been told all these things that West Virginia has gotten robbed blind of their natural resources. And so our fathers and our fathers' fathers, bought into all of that, and we're just coming around to start finally figuring ourselves out. And what I love about the second part of that line, quilt ourselves in sweet nothings in newsprint, is grammatically, I can read that as perhaps we no longer spew the lies of our fathers, perhaps we no longer quilt ourselves in sweet nothings in newsprint, or is it perhaps we will no longer spew the lies of our fathers and then quilt ourselves in sweet nothings in newsprint? I have a double reading of that line. Maybe no one else would do that, but I get a double reading of it, and I that's why I love that line so much.
It's it's a gem. It is, it connects with me on so many different levels. Really appreciate that. And then it also just shows in one of my chats with a friend, we were talking about like what defines poetry, what separates it from like a diary entry or something like that,
Mhm.
and also get rid of all the gatekeepers. It's all poetry, right? But one thing that might set it apart is like these puzzles that you could keep taking apart, something that continues to intrigue, that could be read in different ways. And like I think that either reading there
Yes.
has plenty to take away, but also just you take that and you could look at anything else and be like, well, is it this or is it that?
Right.
Initiating that complex type of thinking is so critical. So,
Yes. Yes, it is.
mm, lovely. And who was the poet again?
William Wolfett.
Perfect. Perfect.
Uh,
Yeah,
Woolfitt.
love it. Yeah, that's exciting. Well, great. And then yeah, so we have the manuscript you're shopping around at the moment. You had shared about some recent publications. Anything else you want to speak to there? And where can people go to find more of your work?
Right. Well, for one, I think I would be remiss if I didn't share this anthology from James Cruz and Brad Peacock. Love is for all of us.
Mm.
Poems of tenderness and belonging from the LGBTQ plus community and friends. So I got a poem in there, so I was really happy about that.
Hey, okay, yeah.
And my latest book is Bending Light with Bare Hands, a journal of poems. And that's from Fernwood Press. Of course, anybody who wants to can go on my website and they can click on the link and they can get a copy there. It's www.davidbprather.com. So that's fairly easy.
Love it, love it. Yeah, we were shouting out Fernwood earlier. Yeah, just great team over there.
Yeah, they really are.
Fantastic. Well, David, again, thank you so much for your time and energy. It's been a joy. And yeah, just th thanks again for making this so easy too. Like I keep saying how generous and welcoming the poetry community is, and just it was real quick. Just you shout out Denton, the interview,
Yes.
and it's like, David, you want it? And you're like, let's go. So here we are. Really, really
Thank you for having me here. I had a great time. Thank you.
1000%. We'll talk soon.